All right, well, we're here with episode number 4 for our podcast. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Had enough to eat and got to spend some time with family, hopefully.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Family lives quite far away, but
Yeah. You make the best of it, though.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Still hung out with a couple friends, so
Yeah. Still had a good time. Watch some football.
cooked way too much food.
Watch my Detroit Lions lose yet again. That's just part of it, though. That's
It's part of Detroit
that's my
Lions.
Thanksgiving tradition, watching them lose. Especially always the early game now because they're usually not very good. So let's get this one out of the way.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Part of being a Lions fan.
Yep.
I can't say too much. The Vikings are usually around a 500 team, so we lose about half of them as well. So
Yeah. Half's better than all. So
I guess
yeah. But hey, there's always next year, right?
always.
Always next year.
Always.
Maybe Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson will come out of retirement.
Maybe.
Yeah. Even as a 50-year-old man, I think Barry could still.
I think my Vikings actually still have a chance at postseason stuff.
Postseason?
We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
We'll see how it pans out.
Yeah.
Still a few more weeks to go on that. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, while we're here today, we're gonna talk about social media. It's kind of obviously it's kind of taken it's everybody's
Everybody's on
into
some
it
type
and,
of social media platform.
I remember when AOL Instant Messenger was first came out,
Yeah.
and that was kind of the beginning of it.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose. I mean,
Yeah, the direct communication to other people,
right?
and really you would just bullshit on there, I feel like. I mean, we were kids in middle school, high school, so, that's what we would do, but,
Right.
it was still a way to connect with people
That weren't
that weren't directly with you.
right.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of where it started. I mean, there probably was something maybe before that.
Yeah.
But that's like the first thing I really remember.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. And then MySpace.
Then MySpace happened, which
Yeah.
I actually had one on MySpace page
Yeah.
for a while.
For a while, yeah.
Facebook started up. I was reluctant to get on Facebook when I didn't even get started on that till I moved down here to Missouri.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, I didn't start an account until I went to Missouri State University.
Yeah, because that's what it started out was originally. It was for college kids to connect with each other. That was the original idea, I believe.
I think so too.
Yeah, which
I feel like you had to have a maybe this is wrong, but I feel like you had to have a student email
I think you did actually. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did.
to get started on it. But
Yeah.
now it doesn't. I mean, now it doesn't matter.
Yeah, now that you say that, when I first heard about it, it was my cousin. He was going to Iowa State at the time, and he was like, "Oh, you should check this Facebook thing out." And it might have been after that, but he was just in college, so maybe that's why I thought of that it was just for college students. But I'm almost positive that's how it started, was for the college students to connect with each other.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that till just now.
Yeah.
So I didn't even look it up. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Regardless, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Obviously.
We've gone to
we got TikTok and or I guess Twitter was probably after that.
Instagram.
Insta,
Yep. Snapchat.
Snapchat, and
And then all those like kind of fringe ones,
Yeah.
where all the hate seems to sit a lot.
then there's a lot of those. Yeah.
Yeah. Like those
LinkedIn-
are like discussion boards though. I think like 4chan and 8chan. I don't think those are strictly social media.
Yeah. Maybe not.
Yeah. But still, I mean, it's the same thing basically. People talking and usually, just about different things, and those seem to be topic specific. That kind of like Reddit, and Reddit. That's another
Reddit,
one.
yeah.
I like Reddit a lot. Do you ever get on the Springfield Reddit?
Every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones on there. There's some good stories on there. And then what did you say before that? I'm sorry, I cut you off there.
Oh, LinkedIn was
LinkedIn.
one.
Yeah, that's for the professionals, right?
Yeah, they do a lot of business listings and job listings and things like that.
Yeah. And now it's almost like, I don't say a necessity, but it's interesting when people don't have social media now because everyone has social media.
It seems like somebody's on a platform at least.
Yeah, and people seem to have platforms they like. It seems like Facebook is more like the older generations, maybe, like the boomers. And
Since it's been around so long, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it's picked up more people, I'd say.
But like Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok seem to be more for the younger generations in a sense, and that's more content driven. It seems like than just people posting stuff, which, I mean, everyone loves good content and good videos, Yeah.
Yeah, you all know that I'm on TikTok, and I enjoy the fun videos.
Yeah.
People are really creative.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
I love the content driven stuff. I mean, it's real fun to see how people even they'll come up with an idea for something and then they'll expand on it, and somebody else expands on that, and it's really
and then they
cool.
build it. Yeah, it's interesting how people can collaborate on it, and I would say that's a pro of social media. Is it people can be creative on it, and then it can also lead to collaborations and stuff, and then you get some really you can get some really interesting videos on there, and just different kinds of things. And really they have niches for anything that anyone's into. Really, like there's sports, there's music, there's movies, there's art, a guy I've been following, this guy JP Murals on Instagram, and he's from LA, and he just he paints murals, and they're beautiful. Like he did one of Snoop Dogg a couple weeks ago that was really good. I don't remember I think he did a Kobe Bryant one when Kobe Bryant passed away. But
I'm sure. Yeah.
It's just cool because he'll do like the stories, and he'll just go through how he creates his murals, and it is really interesting to see, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's a good positive of social media on that aspect.
Yeah, there's a guy on TikTok who rides on subways.
Oh yeah.
And unknowingly to the person that he's drawing, he'll draw like the person across the hall from him. We'll just do a quick little drawing, and then he'll give him the drawing at the end. It's really cool. I mean,
yeah, I bet that makes people's day. You know?
People seem to be pretty excited about it, and
seeing kindness from people on social media, because you don't always see that a lot.
It's fun, and that kind of will transition that into the cons of
social media,
the negative aspects of it, because in a lot of ways, in a lot of the ways that are good, there's also a lot of ways that are very negative, and
there's always an opposite to the good,
right.
And whether it be the lack of human interaction, you would say, among people now, because people live online basically. Yeah.
I mean, the trolling, bullying,
yeah.
Just I think it's pretty easy because you can basically anonymously
attack anybody
that's on that platform, which is unfortunate, because that's not. I mean, it's just not nice.
Not nice, yeah. And it's interesting how before we had social media, we had the face-to-face contact with people, and half the stuff that gets said on some of the platforms, like you would never say that to anybody's face, because not only the threat of being punched, but just like some of the negativity that people spew on there, and just because they get to hide behind the keyboard in a sense, they don't have to face the real life repercussions of what they've said or maybe even done sometimes, you know, and it's like kind of a lack of accountability then for their actions on the platforms.
Right.
So,
and sometimes they get blocked or whatever.
Yeah.
Facebook jail.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Facebook jail?
I have not.
I've not either, but I don't post a lot on Facebook.
I don't really either, but
it's so funny when people come back. They're like fresh out of Facebook jail.
It's like, what did you do?
Yeah. What meme did you share that was not that people don't like? Yeah. But
my God.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that meme was too far.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, and it's up to the companies to decide what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And as we were talking about with free speech, it's since those are private companies, they don't have to follow the rules of the Constitution and the First Amendment, because that's strictly seems to be just for government not being able to silence your speech in a sense.
Right, but since it's private business,
They set their terms and conditions, and
Which-
if you break them, then you go to Facebook
jail.
YouTube jail, whatever. Oh, we didn't even talk about YouTube, you know?
oh yeah,
Because YouTube,
Yeah,
I
YouTube-
honestly
YouTube's
like
ridiculous,
YouTube.
yeah.
I like YouTube a lot just because of the content on YouTube. There's yet again
You can do
anything you're
anything.
into. Yeah, you know, I was just listening to Alan Watts a little bit ago, which that guy, I wish he was still alive, because he'll listen to him and it's like, man, this guy just had some really interesting ideas about life in a sense, and it's hard to explain. You have to listen to him, but it's just interesting. And he passed away, I think, in the 70s, I think. So, and you look at he's got like tons of views on his videos, you know, and tons of comments, people talking about how some of the stuff he talks about is very relevant today, you know. And, you know, back to the cons, what would be another con of social media, I guess, besides just the bullying in a sense, and the mob mentality, I think, is big on social
Sure.
media.
Well, I mean, kind of going along with the idea that it's a private company, and so it can kind of regulate how it wants.
Yep.
There's kind of a bias, you would
Yes.
say,
Yep.
just kind of based on what the operator of the platform wants to do. I mean,
And a lot of them do seem to lean left. Like, there doesn't seem to even be like a conservative social media platform in a sense.
there are, but only
the
the Republicans,
Yeah.
or whatever, the conservative.
yeah
But-
yeah, because there's been a few instances of conservatives getting their stuff like shadow banned and stuff, and their content not being shared as widely as it could have been because of the political views they have. And that strictly just seems to be the person that, or not, maybe even people, maybe it's a group of people that look at the content and say, oh, I don't like that idea, so let's shadow ban them, or let's do whatever we have to silence the
Right.
person. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's it's one thing to have freedom of speech, and it's another thing also to it's one thing to say something, but another thing to actually be heard.
Yeah.
And so you could say something, but then you can be kind of banned,
Yeah.
so
and
that less people hear
yep, you'll get less
what
yeah,
what you're trying to say.
what you're trying to say. And see, that's the whole thing with the conversations that we should be having, is you should be able to have them on social media. But like, I notice when I get on Facebook, when people get into the political stuff, it just seems people just they usually start off with an insult for something they don't like, and then they just spout the viewpoints of whatever side they're on. And it's like they don't even necessarily read what the person says. They just find something in the first couple sentences that they don't agree with, and then it's like, well, you're a piece of trash, and these are why you're a piece of trash, And there's no healthy dialogue going on there. It's just
Right.
it's just point scoring, for your side, and how that doesn't seem like a very healthy dialogue at all when you don't even engage. People engage, but they engage trying to win the argument instead of just having a good discussion and you're never, you're very rarely going to change people's minds. People are very set in their ways. Even I think young people are that way too, especially once you have certain ideas, like it's very hard for people to change those ideas. So, and really social media should be a place where we share ideas and we collaborate and we work towards progress. Yet again, we try to make progress, but it doesn't seem to be used that way. Because I always see the internet specifically, like, we're growing up with it, and it seems like it's still at a very young age in a sense. So
Yeah.
people are they're very combative, and they're very egotistical, maybe, in a sense.
Maybe
too.
Closed-minded. I
Yeah,
think.
closed-minded. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Just,
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's really, if you try to open up a dialogue and the person that's listening or reading your stuff, I guess, doesn't want to hear it, then they'll
Yeah.
just bash you.
Yep. Yeah. And then the mob sends in.
And then right, and then other people come to their, the original content creators' aid, and then other people bounce back at them, and
Yep.
it just seems to be just
just
people yelling at each other.
Yep. That's the best way to put it. Yelling at each other through the keyboard, and I mean, I wish you could look up those kind of stats, like you could see posts of the somewhat healthy dialogues on there, because I'm sure they're on there, but they seem to be very few and far between. So
right, compared to, especially in the kind of political
yep,
climate we're in now, where
everything is
everybody's kind of on one side and everybody else is kind of on the other side, and
yep.
there's very few willing to listen to to any argument on either side. Really, it's either you're on this side or you're on this side. And
yep, and that's where I think the mob mentality and the group think is what we really should try to work against on those platforms, to where people think for themselves and try to rationalize arguments, to themselves, and argue with the person if they disagree, but argue with them in a respectable way, as if they're face to face, even though it's not the same, And I think that does have something to do with it. When you're not face to face, that's easier for people to turn to the negativity of it and just spout terrible things at the person because of certain usually political beliefs. I mean, that's what it's all now. It's all politicized, and you're on one side of the fence or you're on the other, and that's where we're stuck at.
It's hard because there are a lot of things that aren't 100%. I mean, we were briefly talking, and we're not going to get into it hugely right now, but we were talking earlier about abortion stuff. And it's like there's not going to be a 100% every time correct answer for it.
No. Yeah.
I mean, there just isn't.
No. Yeah.
You're not going to make everybody agree that this is the exact. Every situation is different for people, and so
truth can be. People can see truth in many different ways, in a way, to where something would be true to somebody that is totally false to somebody else, and that seems to be more politically driven than even like rationalized, I guess, in a sense.
There's nothing that's just always going to. I mean, there's no absolutes with a lot of those things, so.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of gray area in there,
And that's what needs to be discussed. But instead of discussion, it's just either you're this or you're this,
Yep. Like specifically with vaccines now. You're either a vaccine, I hate to say sheep, but that's what a lot of people on the other side like to say. Like, oh, you're a sheep for getting the vaccine, you're just following along. But then the other side is the anti-vaxxers that are so set in their ways of not getting vaccine because they think that it's just a way of government control, and it maybe is, but still.
Sure, but we could have conversations about it instead of just yelling at each other for it,
Yeah, yep. And, that's the new way of having discussions now is on social media, and
it's crazy because it's either, it's one or the other.
Yep.
It's like you're either this or you're this. And it's like if we open up a dialogue, maybe we can come to
not even
better
an agreement, I would say. Maybe agreement, but just an understanding of where the person's coming from. And you don't have to agree with them at all, but if you can understand where they're coming from and say, I politely disagree with you,
Right.
And, we don't have to.
But these are the reasons why. I mean, like.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, having a discussion instead of just saying, "Oh, you're wrong,"
putting up the wall and saying you're wrong. I'm right because of this reason and that reason. Yeah, and I think it's having a huge effect on our collective consciousness in a sense. And honestly, right now it seems like it's having a huge negative effect on the collective, because another con is the idea of when you share stuff and if people don't engage with it, then you get that negative feeling inside, and you don't get the positive feedback that you're hoping for on the platforms, and it's just kind of interesting how how it seems to affect people's everyday lives because of what happens online. And you should hopefully be able to keep them separated, you know, because what happens online is vastly different than what happens in real life sometimes, it seems like. And people just seem to put all their happiness in what happens online. And if you don't get the responses you need, then you're shitty and you feel depressed, and you know,
Right.
you don't want to deal with it or whatever, you know. And yeah, it's just interesting how it's like that.
Yeah, and it's weird that it's like people, if they don't agree, they're just offended. And
Yeah.
it's like there. There are times on, you know, like we said with trolls and stuff, that those are just assholes trying to offend
Yeah.
people, you know?
Yep.
That's just,
Yeah.
there's going to be some of those people,
Yeah.
because of the fact that there aren't really any repercussions for it. But it's, people get offended so easily anymore.
So easily, yeah. And back to the discussion, do people look to have discussions, or they look to get offended and then say, oh, well, this offended me, so now I'm going to do everything in my power to ruin you.
Yeah, now I'm going to blast you. And
Yep, and I'm going to dox you and put all your information out there and try to get you fired. And it's just
try
a
to get
very...
you canceled.
Yeah, yep. It's just a very drastic step to take. And yet again, it comes back to, do people want to be right, or do they want to be offended? Which maybe they could be tied together, I guess. Because people do want to be right, and if they're not right, then they're most likely will be offended then. So, and it's just an interesting time, honestly.
Right.
Because I'd say, but a lot of people do seem to look for what offends them. Like that's maybe that's what they're looking for when they get online, is, oh, well, and maybe not even consciously, maybe subconsciously.
Right.
They just look for the negative people that they can then put on blast and yeah,
try to
cancel, right?
cancel them
Yeah.
or whatever. And
Yeah.
but the fact of the matter is most of the, I won't say most of the time, but maybe I will say it, most of the time, I don't think people are trying to offend people.
No, I would say that's a minority of people on social media are strictly looking just to be offensive,
Right.
and say terrible things about whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, I think most people.
But
are
people
looking-
are looking to be offended more
Yeah.
than people are looking to offend people, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
And
yep.
and I don't understand that. I mean, because
Yeah.
it's not up to, if I say something that triggers you into thinking that you're offended. I'm not really sure what's the point of that?
Yeah.
You know, are you just looking to be offended by
Yeah.
something that I say? Mm-hmm. Or do you want to have a conversation and see why
Yeah.
I think that, or we could have a conversation why you don't think, you know, why you oppose that
Yeah. And yet,
thing that I say.
now that you brought that up, I think that comes back to like the egotism of social media. That people like having this persona online, and maybe that persona is to look to try to be offended, I guess, you know, so that way they get the sympathy. I guess would be a word to say, from people. Because this person said something that offended me, and then I think a lot of people virtue signal online too, which I think is the worst thing, because you know I think the pendulum of morality should swing back and forth between us, and maybe you're a little more ethical on some things, maybe I'm a little more ethical, and that's how we learn from each other. But online, it's just like, no, I'm up here, you're down there for your beliefs, and then I'm gonna blast you for everything you say, and you have to listen to me because I'm morally superior. And you know, that's such a silly idea, because nobody should be morally superior, because we're humans, we're fallible, we make mistakes. Like, there's no perfect human, so the only way to
Well, hold on, except for Natalie Portman.
oh yeah, Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
But I love you, Natalie Portman.
Just throw that in there, huh?
Just throwing that in there.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole virtue signaling thing is the thing that does bother me a lot, because I think that hinders the conversation then.
Right. Because
the person people have these blinders on when they're on the virtue signaling role, because they think that their views are morally superior, so that person, they're trying to fix that person because their views are regressive or backwards or whatever. And sometimes they are, but a lot of times I think it's just people with different views, and not even terrible views in a sense,
right.
just different.
Not trying to be mean.
Yeah.
But somebody reading that or listening to their joke or their meme or whatever, and they become offended, and it's like, well, I mean, you can choose not to listen to it too if you don't want to. Which, that's kind of the cool thing about social media too. If you don't like that person's view, you can just kind of
but see,
not listen to them. But I
think that gets people in echo chambers then, and then
totally does.
Yeah, they only go down their lane, and they don't look to the other side.
Yeah, and then you're not going to learn anything that way either. You're not going to have any real constructive conversation.
No, yeah.
If you don't converse with people that think differently than you.
Yep, yeah. Because, the whole morality thing of it is that people should dive into themselves for where their morals are. And really, I think that should be an important part of life, is trying to figure out things that you're a good person on and things that maybe you're kind of shitty on, and you should work on that. I think that's everyone's duty to look in themselves and see, okay, what do I need to work on so that I can be a more complete individual to help contribute to the betterment of all of us. I think I think that's a step that we all need to take amongst ourselves, and then not just automatically think that our views are morally superior. And I think that's another thing that we're missing out on social media. And that's more of, I guess, philosophical thing, but like that's just where I've kind of been at, in my life in the last couple of years, is like really looking within to see what do I need to work on so I can be better. Because I know when I work on that, then it seems to have a positive influence in my life, and then it just seems to just get the ball rolling in the right direction. And it always comes up. It seems like every day there's like certain things that come up that you could do something to be a good person, or you could do something to be selfish and to look out for yourself. And especially if you work with people, I see it a lot with certain people I work with. Like, they just seem to only look out for themselves, and they don't necessarily seem to try to do what's best for the team in a sense. And I just that bugs me because that's what I try to focus on, is what am I failing at that I need to work on my own to be better. So yeah. And, that comes to the whole cancel thing. Like, everyone's talking about canceling people. And some people did, I hate the term cancel, because I think that should be a last resort. Like, that should not be the first step. That should be the very last thing. And now some people do deserve to get canceled, or, like the whole Me Too movement. Some of those cases, Harvey Weinstein I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby and a couple other people, like, those are some pretty gruesome stories.
Right.
And people using their power to get stuff from other people and
exploit other people.
Those people need to be dealt with accordingly. But then there's a lot of fringe cases too, like with Chappelle now. People are talking about canceling Dave Chappelle because they said he's transphobic. And now I heard this on Rogan, and I thought it was a good point, that people talk about him being transphobic, but then they're not quoting any of the jokes he said. They're just saying that his material is transphobic, but they're not using an actual joke from it. Because if you watch the special, he makes jokes, but then he has a very heartwarming, tragic story of a trans person he knew that he actually tried to help become a comedian. And then I can't remember how the story ended, but basically that person got attacked by the trans community and ended up committing suicide. And that's terrible, and I don't see any amount of transphobia in that from Dave Chappelle. I just see a guy that, he
makes jokes.
Yeah.
He's
good at it. Yeah.
I don't think he was, I don't know. I'm not obviously Dave Chappelle. I can't get inside of his head.
Yeah.
when he's on stage at a comedy special. I mean, he's not. I mean, Dave Chappelle. I mean, he's known for, making fun of everybody.
Yeah.
And
that's the beauty of him. Yeah.
That's kind of his thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was why Chappelle Show was so good. Is that nobody was off the table. You know. Yeah.
No, he did a lot of racial stereotypes.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But it was for everybody.
Yeah.
And it was literally to make everybody laugh.
Yeah.
It was to bring everybody together in laughter and
and he did
really
a great
just have
job
a good
at it,
time. I love that show. I
was-
watch all of his specials. I think they're all great.
Yeah, and it's like he's miles ahead of his time. You would say
he's funny.
you know.
I really like him. He's funny.
And he
But just the whole cancel culture thing is so weird and
it's
seems
we don't like what you said.
If
Or we don't
anybody
like what you
slips
did.
up like that little slip up, and now everybody wants to cancel him,
Yep.
even though everybody's loved him for years and years.
Yep. Yeah.
It's not like it's not like the Bill Cosby thing.
No,
it's
not at all. No.
It's very much
Very different,
different.
yeah.
And to put those two in the same,
In the same category of trying to be canceled is, I think, criminal.
that's outrageous.
Yeah, because the things that Bill Cosby and Harvey Weinstein, those are absolutely terrible people that took advantage.
They messed up on a whole level, and then they were doing that for years and years.
Yep. And to where
and so people get offended by one thing, and then got a blast.
Yep.
Got a blast
let's
and
get the mob.
get them all canceled and do this. Man, if we do
trying
that
to
with
think of another-
if we do that with everybody though, like
God,
what's going to
everybody would
happen?
be canceled. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, there's.
I mean, everybody slips up.
Yeah.
Like,
See, that's the.
one of these days we might be
We'll get
canceled.
Yeah, we'll say something that will offend somebody.
Right.
I mean, because yet again, just trying to have discussions about it and trying to. That's the thing, having honest discussions about it. That's what we need, but people don't want that because the truth is ugly sometimes, and people don't want to acknowledge it because of maybe how bad it is, I guess, and so their first step is to cancel because they think we might as well not even don't even want to listen.
That's gonna fix everything.
Yeah. We'll just tar and feather that person, and then they will go away, and they'll
and then other people will see that, and then they'll never make that mistake again.
Yeah,
it's not gonna happen like that.
No.
I mean, that's not how things happen.
Yep. And as we were just watching that Stephen Fry thing right before, the PC thing is that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be a hindrance in a sense. Now we shouldn't use some of the language that was used in the past. Obviously,
sure.
Certain words have just negative connotations or whatever, and they need to go away. Honest, but they're never going to go away. They're always going to be there. But to try to police speech on a day-to-day basis, like that doesn't seem to be the right step forward.
Like you're going to take all your time doing that instead of coming up with good ideas and good ways to teach people to not use that kind of thought or whatever.
Yeah. I hate to say we're wasting time on it, but we're the time that could be spent on innovation and creativity to better the world so we can leave a better world to the future generations is being wasted on the cancel culture and on PC language, and South Park does that great with the PC principle, like I was trying to think of like something to say and I kept thinking of PC principle, like talking about certain things and you have to say it this way and you have to not marginalize anybody, and it's just, I don't know.
And don't get me wrong, there was one time I bartend and I gave somebody their drink, and I was like, "Oh, here you go, ma'am," and she got really offended.
Oh, really?
Because, and then he informed me that he's a male.
Yeah.
He identifies as a male.
Yeah.
And I said, "I'm so sorry. I did not know. I've never met you before. So how would I know?"
Yep.
I just.
Yeah.
And I don't think I did anything wrong. The next person that individual came in, I referred to him as a he.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, if
But
you
would've
let me know,
known, yeah.
I didn't know. And
Yep.
you know,
And you,
I don't think that's an old school way of thinking. I mean,
No. Yeah.
you see somebody that looks like a woman that comes up,
and really, you're just trying to be polite.
and I was
to
just
her.
trying to be nice.
Yep. Yeah.
And then,
And then she informed you that
Yeah.
I'm sorry, they informed you that that's not
That-
how they
yeah.
identify, and that's the thing.
and,
with
and
you.
I'll fix that. That's totally
Yeah.
fine. If I would have known, I would have said it right,
Yep.
the right way the first time.
Yep.
But
And that's the thing about we should see each other as individuals and
Right.
not look for gender or skin color or sexual orientation. You should try to see people as individuals. Now, granted, you're not going to know everyone's name that they come in, so you can't refer to them by their name. But if you see them as an individual, then you kind of can leave some of that behind, I think.
Yeah.
And
he came in. He actually came into billiards a lot when I worked over there,
yeah,
and he was very cool with me for
yeah.
after that, and
I bet-
he came in very regularly. And,
I bet
and we were
knowing
really-
you, that
he was
person
really
probably
nice.
ended up liking you. I bet.
and he did.
Yep.
Yeah, we got into good
Because
conversations.
that's the person
and,
you are. Yeah.
we had a couple. We had some shots together.
Probably had a
and
few
just
laughs.
hung
Yeah.
out, you know, and
And see, that's
it's totally fine.
that's a good thing too. You realize that you did make a mistake, and after you corrected
Yeah.
the mistake, then the relationship was able to grow and almost into a friendly relationship,
Right.
And to where there was no animosity there.
Yeah,
it was
we
just
never hung out outside.
yeah, that's what I was saying.
or whatever.
Friendly,
But
friendly bar to patron relationship.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, as a bartender, you're everyone's friend, right?
well, yeah. I mean, it's pretty easy to be friends when you're serving
when you're
drinks.
serving
so
drinks. Yeah, usually everyone
people
loves to
become
see
pretty
you.
friendly after a few. Usually.
Yeah. But see, that's the thing right there. You learned from that one time, and
Yeah.
it sticks with you.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I remembered every time.
And I
That-
treated that person accordingly. Yep.
And I think if people did that more regularly instead of just being really offended and because at first you got pretty offended
Yeah,
that,
I bet.
and I was like, I'm so sorry,
Yep.
I don't know you,
Yep.
and I did not know that that's what you identified
Yep.
as.
Back to
And so we fixed it.
Yep.
And we had a conversation and we fixed it.
Yep.
We fixed the problem.
And you learned how to treat that person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And back to the whole social media aspect of it, they could have said, "Oh, don't go to billiards. They have these transphobic bartenders,"
Right.
And
And
just,
I wouldn't have even known what the heck they were talking
yeah,
about.
Yeah. Yep.
But we had a conversation and fixed the problem. And
Yep. Yeah. See, it's just funny how the conversation led to it growing as a relationship, not friends or anything, because they're just somebody that came into the bar, but
Right.
the fact that they came back and you were able to build a rapport with them.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you had a conversation. See,
Right.
the conversation
and
is
it's
the
all
key.
about having conversations instead of just getting offended and then blasting somebody.
Yep. Yeah. I like how we keep
Because
using-
you're right. I know blasting.
Yeah, that's the word of this
Just
podcast.
throwing it on
yeah.
blast.
It's going to put you on blast.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah.
And,
That's why conversations are important. That's why we need to have. That's why we need to talk to each other.
Yeah.
And not just get offended and then bash each other.
bash each other, yeah. And that's where the social media hopefully will evolve someday. I don't see it happening anytime soon, to where the conversations can be had and
Right.
people don't look to
There
just
are
be offended.
and there are some
Yeah.
some conversations that happen, and it's just not as prevalent as it probably should be.
And yet again, I think it's the lack of face to face. I think face to face is so important. I think that changes the whole dynamic of the conversation or whatever, especially online. It's just the decency we should have towards each other. And there's not, on certain situations on social media, there's not decency for any side. It seems like, and they're on their side and they have their points, and that's what they stick to. And they don't want to necessarily engage. They just want to be right. So,
Yeah.
yep. And yeah, it's an interesting time that we're living in with all that. Cause I mean, it's changed, like, I wouldn't say overnight, but it's changed within the last 10 years probably, to where,
Seems like overnight. When
yeah, it really does. Yeah.
Well, the way that man, I'm getting old.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
It's like, where did those
Getting
10
up there.
years go?
Yeah. Dude, I just saw, this is totally random, but speaking of social media on Facebook, there was a post or like one of those memories, and it was from the Madison house, and it was like a picture of me, Scotty, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on it, Sarah, and what the heck was the other girl's name? Oh my God, Kara, yes, sitting on a couch, and it was from 12 years ago, and I'm like, what the hell? And like,
What
oh
happened?
my God, like that seems like yesterday, and it was 12 years ago, and it's like, holy cow, and just seeing the pictures, like, God,
Yeah, we're getting
so
old.
young, and you know, times are different. Times
Yeah.
are definitely changing, you know,
Yeah.
and that's the thing, we need to change with the times. We do need to change.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you know that's the way forward. We have to evolve. We have to adapt. But yet again, I think the steps we take in our progress are important. So we should really have the conversations to figure out the best steps forward, so that the majority of people can live their truth, I guess is a way to say it. But yeah, be who they want to be and be accepted. Yeah, we have to be accepting of each other, and you know,
And respectful.
yeah. And you know, the whole non-binary thing, like it's still, I get it, but it's just interesting to me, you know. But yet again, that's still, I see that person as an individual, so I understand if they want, that's who they identify as, and I have no problem with that. But still, like it shouldn't affect how we treat each other, you know. We really do need kindness, honestly, kindness and empathy for each other. Empathy does not seem to be, I mean, it's there, but it's not, I don't know. We should try to be more empathetic for the other side.
Right.
And,
Yeah, it seems like it's there for you if you're on on the same side.
Yep.
Same
Yep.
political side, but
Yep.
not with everybody.
Not with
you know?
everybody. Yep. Yeah. And so, yet again, what are the steps forward? You know, because social media obviously isn't going away. If anything, it's just going to keep growing and growing and
Sure.
growing. And that's the thing too.
I'm sure
Everything-
10 years there'll be a new
Yeah,
thing.
like I'm sure in 10 years, like obviously Facebook's already going away. It's becoming Meta, but that'll be gone, or it'll be changed, or not even be there. And like, I'm sure TikTok will be. Everyone loves TikTok. It seems like, but like Twitter,
They are
Twitter
really
seems
fun.
like it could die in the next 10 years just because of I'm gonna say hate that's on there. Like I don't have Twitter, but I listen to plenty of people that have Twitter, and just the wars that people have on Twitter do not seem to be constructive. At
I think
all.
people are really mean on Twitter.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, and that's part of the reason I don't want to get on there.
Yeah.
Because I don't want that hate every day.
Yeah.
You know, if I share something and then I get blasted yet again for my views, and then have to defend myself, you know, which I don't mind defending myself in those situations, but yet again, I think the face-to-face conversation is the important part of it.
It's like, I never mind defending myself because I'm not very mean. I'm a
No, you're
pretty nice
kind-hearted,
guy,
yeah.
you know. And so
Yeah.
like,
I've
if
never.
I slip something up and
Yep.
somebody talks to me about it, you know,
Yeah, you're one of the few people I've never heard anyone say a bad word about,
well-
and that's saying something.
yeah,
you
we'll have
know?
a conversation. We could talk about it, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll fix it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Just got to make a beer run real quick. But yeah, like to me, it brings back, you know, to we're kind of going in circles here, but
Yeah.
that's all right.
Yeah.
Brings me to the idea of being offended. You know,
Yes.
it's I never try to offend anybody,
No.
and I think the person that gets offended a lot is looking to be offended because they want to cause a scene sometimes,
Yeah.
which is
Because yet again, it comes back to the I'm gonna call it the positive reaction they get from it, from the people that are on their side. So they get the positive like dopamine rush before being offended, and that just seems like a bad thing to do. Because
it's not productive at
No.
all. I mean, it doesn't do anything
no,
to help.
to help move us forward. And,
Right.
Yeah, because that's what we're.
Everybody wants to be, you know, progressive or whatever. It's like, well, if we want to make progress, we have to have conversations to be able to make progress.
Progress. Yeah.
You know, if butt hurt and then just want to bitch about it all the time, we're not going to go anywhere.
Nope, not at all. Yeah, and the idea of looking to be offended, that's just an interesting idea, but it's so true. You see it everywhere on social media. It's what offends me today. What can I get upset about today? Which has to be such a negative aspect on people's life.
I don't understand why you'd want to be upset.
Because as soon as you're offended, you're upset, and that has to ruin your day in some way.
It can't be healthy.
No, I wouldn't say at all. Yeah, because it seems like it's a stress. Like it's going to lead to stress for you. Yeah. And that's obviously not good on anybody. The unwanted stress. But yet we have to.
But by all means, if that's what you do, comment on our video, and let's have a talk about it. I mean, because I don't understand that mentality of wanting that.
Yeah, of looking to be offended with whatever. Yeah, and
I hope that's not what most people are doing, but it seems like that's what a lot of people are doing, and it hurts me because I can't imagine what you're going through if that's what you want to do. It's got to be such a negative feeling every day.
Yep. And to live in that negativity all the time, like that has so many other effects on people.
Yeah, we've already talked about depression and stuff. But that's got to be like,
it's got to lead. Yeah, there's no way it leads you away from depression or anxiety.
I don't know how it would help you.
Yeah. Yep. Because you could tie social media into the mental health aspect too.
Totally can. Yeah.
Yep. Just the negative feedback on there. Yeah. Because yet again, I think there are pros to social media, but I think the cons far outweigh the pros at this time.
Yeah.
Now, could it change in the future? Maybe. But I think we're almost down that road so far already that it's hard to see us turning back. I guess.
Yeah, the potential for great things is there for sure. I think.
Yes, because yet again, social media ties us all together, brings us all together. Because if you brought somebody from even 100 years ago, and I think we talked about this before, but just the fact you could hit a button and talk to somebody in China, like that is such a power. Like
crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's absolutely mind-boggling because I always thought that too. Like, for the longest time, the world was so big to people, and nobody had no idea what was on the other side of the world. Well, now we can talk to the other side of the world in one click, just boom, like that.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So there's something there, and it's almost like we don't know what to use. I like to call the internet our tool. It's a tool that these generations have created, and we seem to be using it for the wrong reasons right now. So what could we do with that tool if we were trying to use it in the best positive way to benefit the most people? And I'm not saying it would solve world hunger or poverty but just it could lead to something. And I think we don't know yet because of the road we've traveled down so far with it now.
Right.
So
and I just thought of this. Do you think because now there are generations that have grown up with Facebook their whole lives?
Yep.
Do you think people kind of take it for granted now?
Yes, I definitely see that.
Because they
don't know.
I kind of just popped in my head. I mean, now people are using these platforms and they've been around their whole lives and they haven't known anything else besides
and
it.
Like I hate to say it, but the younger generations are going to see that that's the only way to communicate with people, and if how we're communicating now is the way that they say to do it, that's just going to lead generations down a bad path. I
think so too. I mean, something's got to change, and I'm not sure what that. I'm
not sure what it is.
Conversation would help.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if. I'm not sure.
I don't see
to the extent that it will.
Because it's like such a grand idea to think of what the potential of social media, but the internet overall, to see the potential of it is hard to see now because of where we're at. But if we could change our mentality and our focus on what we look to do with the internet and with social media, I think it could start making some good, some positive differences in the right direction. But yeah, I just don't think we can see it yet because we're so. As you said, people grew up with it. We're almost ingrained to it now. And
Right.
it's just what you do on social media now. Is you look to be offended and you look to put people on blast. Yeah.
That is the word of the day.
Yeah, which is funny because we've never had that before. I
don't think so.
Yeah, it's just
Now we're doing word of the day now.
Yeah, well, yeah,
on
maybe
our
we should do
podcast.
that. Yeah, that's a good little.
Yeah,
little,
I guess we're evolving a little bit here.
Yeah,
Maybe,
Yep.
or maybe it's
Maybe.
devolving. I don't know.
yeah. I don't know either.
We'll
yeah,
see.
yeah.
See how it goes.
But yet again, we're just trying to have a conversation. And granted, we're friends, so we have similar viewpoints. But still, we're open minded, and we're trying to find solutions. I would say, and granted, there's only 10 people listening, but still,
Sure.
we're
Yeah, I
We're
don't think
still-
I don't think we'll get. We might not get big enough to
No.
get canceled. To be
no,
honest,
No, no, it'll be underground. Yeah, but yeah, still, we're just two friends that see problems in the world and trying to find a solution, and especially to
or just even bring up a problem so people can think about.
yeah.
Because I
Yep.
mean, we're not geniuses or anything.
Nope, we're not. Yeah, we're
just-
not.
Just want to have conversations and
Yeah.
try to figure out what the hell we're doing.
Yeah.
What the hell we're even doing?
What the hell
here.
we're doing here? Yeah. Sometimes it's like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, everything seems so weird right
I
now.
know, and it seems like every other day somebody's getting canceled or somebody's getting offended about something. Almost every day.
Well,
And it's just so overwhelming sometimes. That's why I don't really like social media anymore, because of that aspect. I don't want to see that negativity all the time. Like, you get on Facebook and yeah, you see some of your family and your friends and they're doing good stuff, but then
Right.
you scroll and then it just becomes these different political memes or other memes, and it's just like, God, I don't want that in my life every day.
lots of hate.
Yeah, lots of hate. Yeah, yeah. And, how do you solve hate with love, but how do you do that on social media? But, it seems impossible at this moment. Because people do put loving things out there, but not as much as the hate seems to be there. And just
That's unfortunate.
yeah, it really is. Yeah. Because yet again, the tool is it's such a great tool. But I had this idea too that I think the internet is almost frying our collective consciousness in a sense, because
Almost
of all, like frying our collective consciousness, because of all the hate, the negativity, and just the terrible things you see on the internet sometimes. It's like, man, why people you shouldn't look at that all the time. That shouldn't be what your main focus is. We got to have some positivity in there somewhere and some uplifting things, which there is, but I don't know. It doesn't seem to get the clicks like the hate does. So, and it's just interesting. It's really just interesting how we try to move away from that, because it just seems like we're too far down the road at this time.
Well, I hope not. I hope it can come back because
Because it needs to.
it'd
Yeah.
be nice. I mean, there are a lot of nice things, and I enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But you gotta. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's.
I don't know.
All we know is that we don't know.
All we know is we don't know.
Yeah. But
Well, you got anything else?
no.
Anything else for us today?
I think we covered it pretty good for the most part.
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe. I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed the
That
conversation
was nice.
we had. Yeah.
That was nice.
I think we had a topic with social media, and we went off on different
Yeah, a little
different
bit.
things, but we kept bringing it back. So
Well,
yeah.
yeah. Well, we appreciate you guys listening in. If those of you that were listening on Spotify, we're on YouTube now as well.
Yeah. Just
And anywhere else? Are we?
not yet. Still
No.
got to build that website.
Yeah, we'll get a website going here too.
Yeah.
And put stuff on there.
Yeah, and hopefully get on Apple Podcasts and
Yeah.
Stitcher and all the other podcast platforms.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, but YouTube's pretty easy to find us. Hopefully you can search Two Stale Crackers, and yeah, we'll try to share the.
We'll be there. We're trying to get them up every 2 weeks or so for now. That might grow depending on if we,
Yeah,
the amount of followings we get. We might
Yeah.
have to add more, but
yeah,
we'll see how that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, I
Yep.
suppose.
definitely.
But yeah, we just appreciate you guys all listening in, and stay tuned for the next one. Like and follow for more.
Yep.
Thanks,
Don't
guys.
put people on blast.
Yeah, try not to blast people so much. All right, man.
Good. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
All right. You guys have a good night.